I'm Oscar Crawford, and welcome to Oscar Crawford Media Sports. In the studio with my guest, the sports diva Micha Goudeau. We're going to talk about a couple of things today, the relevance of post-game interviews, and what's the other one we're going to do?
We're going to talk about the Pro Bowl.
We're going to talk about the Pro Bowl. All right, Micha, talk to us about how you feel about post-game interviews.
Okay, so the thing with post-game interviews is there's two things that kind of bother me. Number one, the questions that are asked, such as, in the instance, if you are the 49ers or the Patriots from this weekend, being asked how you feel after you lose the game. I mean, I don't know that there's any variance of answers you can get there other than you feel like crap. You just lost your shot in the big show. I don't understand what they expect you to say. It's kind of an odd question to me to ask how somebody feels when there's a lot more relevant questions that can be asked. The other thing with post-game interviews is they've gotten to the point where the answers are almost predictable. The response is, well, we played against a great team, and it's very politically correct. So I'm not really sure that I see the value in them anymore.
Well, here again, if you're Richard Sherman right now, you can go into a post-game interview and say, he sucked, I beat him down. But, we're looking for somebody who can give that very palatable, polite answer. They just got humiliated on the field or lost a very close game. And you're supposed to sit there with almost a President Obama face or some political face and give some nice answer to a tough question when you really want to say somebody the Millie Jackson Symphony. It's kind of like that. And so I don't think players get any training on how to go into those, because literally only top tier players or special players in a particular game ever get to sit through those post game interviews. Now if you're Tom Brady or if you're Peyton Manning, you're always going to be chosen. They're going to catch you coming off the field, and you're going to have to always give some response to some questions. And look, let's be honest. A reporter's job is to ask a question that messes somebody up. That's their task. If they can ask that question, they get identity, and then they get to go to all the press conferences.
So maybe the thing is they just need to switch their questions up. I think at this point they expect it to be asked how they feel. They're probably thinking about it as they're getting ready for the press conference.
The president, when he gives an interview, knows the question ahead of time. There ought to be some agreement in some kind of parameters on what you can ask in a post-game interview. I remember when the guy used to be here in Arizona, and his team was ahead like 30 points, and then he still got beat at the end. He gave a Richard Sherman interview at the end of the game. He said, "Why don't you go and make them Super Bowl champs now?" The team that beat him down. And it was pitiful. But, some guys really don't do well. It's kind of like you see players at the end of the game, they can't put two words together that sound grammatically correct. So I think we do as well as we can expect in some ways, but there's a long way to go.
Got it. Yeah. So switching gears a little bit.
Okay.
The Pro Bowl. Depending on who you ask, they may or may not be excited about the Pro Bowl. Some people don't even feel like it's a real football game. For me, I get excited because I like to see all my favorite players, out there at one time. I can understand people who feel like it's not a real game, but at the same thing, I don't think that there should be risk of injury, in the Pro Bowl. So it's a little bit tough for me. What do you think?
I think that the last time I watched a Pro Bowl, Cam Newton was Rookie of the Year. Cam Newton is my guy now. If you ask me who my favorite quarterback, it's Cam Newton. You seen the little commercial where the little boy's talking to him?
Yes.
And he says, "And so I'm going to be your mama favorite player too."
Yes.
So Cam Newton is a really high-profile guy. He's developing in the league, but in his first Pro Bowl, he stunk. He looked pitiful. He looked nothing like the Cam Newton who had won championships in college and had just finished up a Rookie of the Year campaign. So, I don't know that they're relevant. I think they're a moneymaker for somebody and maybe some publicity. I'm really not sure.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see who's tuned in.
Yeah.
So.
All right, listen. This was Oscar Crawford Media Sports. I'm Oscar Crawford, and my guest, the sports diva, Micha Goudeau. Thank you for joining us.